Alright, in this video, we are going to be looking at examples on how to convert numbers in base 10 to other bases. And we are going to be looking at 3 examples. So the first example here says we should express 208 in base 10 to base binary and b to base 16. So express 208 base 10 in binary and in base 16. So the first solution here is to convert from base 10 to base 2. Binary is same thing as base 2. So another name for base 2 is binary. So we have 208 base 10 to base 2. So if you want to convert to base 2 from base 10, all we just need to do is we repeatedly divide by the base we are converting to. But in this case, we are converting to binary, which is base 2. So we repeatedly divide by 2. So we have 208. That's what we are given. That's the number given to us in base 10. But since we are converting to base 2, we are going to divide by 2. So 208 divided by 2 will give us 104. 104 without any remainder. So remainder in this case is 0 because there is no remainder. Again, we divide 104 by 2, which is going to give us 52. So we have 52 without any remainder, also remainder 0. Again, we divide 52 by 2. We keep dividing until we can no longer divide. So 52 divided by 2 will give us 26. Then remainder of 0. That means there is no remainder. Again, 26 divided by 2. We keep dividing by the base we are converting to. In this case, don't forget, it is base 2. That's why we are dividing all through by 2. So 26 divided by 2 is going to give us 13 without any remainder. Remainder 0. Again, we keep dividing. 13, in this case, divided by 2 would give us 6. But in this case, there's going to be a remainder of 1. So we have remainder 1. Again, 6 divided by 2 would give us 3. But in this case, there won't be any remainder. Remainder 0. Then again, 3 divided by 2 is going to give us 1. But we have remainder of 1 in this case. Then again, we use 2 again to divide 1. But 2 cannot divide 1. Why? Because 2 is greater than 1. So instead, we are going to be writing, since 2 cannot divide 1, so if the number you want to use to divide cannot divide, so you are going to be writing 0. Then you bring out this 1, that is the number that is here, which is 1. So 1. So now we are going to be counting from below upward. So our answer, which is going to be 208 in base 10, is the same thing as, so we are starting from the base, which is 1 here. 1, then again 1, then we have 0, then we have 1, then 4 zeros follows. 0, 0, 0, and 0 in base 2. In base 2. So in base 2. So the answer is 11010000 in base 2. Now let's quickly do the second part that says we should convert to base 16. B, we are converting Same number, 208. This time around to base 16. Don't forget, you are going to be dividing all through by the base you are being asked to convert to. So in this case, it's base 16. So we are going to be dividing all through by 16. So divided by 16. So 208 divided by 16 is definitely going to give us 13 without any remainder. So remainder 0. Then again, we are going to divide 13 by 16. But don't forget, 16 cannot divide 13 because 16 is greater than 13. And if it cannot divide, so we are definitely going to be writing 0, then remainder the number that is here since it cannot divide it. So remainder 13. But recall that 13 is D. We cannot write 13. So 13 is D. So we have D. So 13 is D. 10. If I want to write 10 here, it's going to be A. If I want to write 11, it's going to be B. If I want to write 12, it's going to be C. And if I want to write 13, it's going to be D. So instead of writing 13, I'm going to be writing D, where D means 13. So our arrow is going to go upward from below. Therefore, 208 in base 10 is the same thing as D and 0 in base 16. And this is how you go about it. Very simple and straightforward. So simple and straightforward. Now let's quickly move into the next example. So the next example, we have express 980 base 10 in octal and be hexadecimal. So octal means base 8. So in this case, then we should express 908 base 10 in base 8. Then B, hexadecimal means base 16. So we are first of all going to be expressing 980 in base 8, then also in base 16. Now let's do the first one that says we should express in octal. Solution. A. We have 980. So in this case, since we are expressing in base 8, it means we are going to be dividing all through by 8. Don't forget, you are going to be dividing all through by the base you want to convert into. So we are converting to base 8, so we are dividing all through by 8. So 980 divided by 8 is going to give us 122. And there is going to be a remainder of 4. So we have 122, remainder 4. So 122 again divided by 8 is going to give us 15, remainder 2, remainder of 2. Remainder of 2. Then again, 15 divided by 8 is going to be 1. In this case, the remainder is going to be 7. So we have remainder of 7. But 1 divided by 8 is not possible. So we cannot use 8 to divide 1. So in this case, we are going to write 0, don't forget, and we'll bring out the number which is 1 that is here. So we have remainder 1. Then we count upward from the bottom. So 980 in base 10 is the same thing as 1724 in base 8. And that's the answer to this. Now let's convert to base 16, which is hexadecimal. B. We are converting to base 16. So we have 980. 980. In this case, we are dividing by 16 because that is what we are converting into. So divided by 16. 980 divided by 16 is going to give us 61. with a remainder of 4. So 61, then we have remainder 4. Then 61 divided by 16 will give us 3. Give us 3. But the remainder is going to be 13. And don't forget, since we are doing base 16, a base that is greater than base 10, A represents 10, B represents 11, C represents 12, while D represents 13. Since 61 divided by 16 is 3, remainder 13. So I'm not going to write 13. I'm going to use D, which is the representation of 13. Then 16. I'm going to be using 16 to divide 3 also. 3 divided by 16 is not possible. So in this case, we are going to be writing 0, and don't forget, we are going to be writing 3 out. So remainder 3. Then you are going to be counting upward from the bottom. So we have 980 in base 10 is the same thing as 3d4 in base 16. And that's how you go about it. Now let's look into the third example that I've prepared for you. So the third example says we should express 574.235 base 10 in base 8. So this third example is having decimal number 574.235, and that's what we want to convert to base 8. So when you are faced with a challenge that is having decimal point as this, so you have to subdivide the number, which is the number that's having decimal point, into 2. That is, we have the whole number part. The whole number part here is 574. Then we also have the other part, which is the decimal part. So we have the decimal part, which is the 0.235. So we are going to be treating them separately. Then at the end, we are going to merge them together. So solution. So we are going to be dividing them into 2 parts. That's the whole number part. So I'm going to be solving the whole number part first, which is 574. So we have the whole number part now. For the whole number part, whole number parts. So for the whole number part, I have 574. And the same way we have been doing it, so we have 574. So since we are converting to base 8, it means we are dividing all through by 8. So we have 8. 574 divided by 8 is going to give us 71 with a remainder of 6. Remainder 6. Again, 71 divided by 8 is going to give us 8 with a remainder of 7. Remainder 7. Then 8 divided by 8 is going to give us 1 with a remainder of 0. There won't be any remainder. Then 1 divided by 8. So 1 divided by 8 is not possible because 8 is greater than 1. So in this case, I'm going to write 0. And don't forget, I'm going to write this 1. So 0, then I'm going to say remainder 1. And don't forget, I'm going to be counting upward from the bottom. So in this case, the whole number part, which is 574 in base 8, is definitely going to give us, so that is 574 base 10 is going to give us 1076 in base 8. So that's the first part, the whole number part. Then we now consider the second part, which is the decimal part. Now, decimal part. So let me write it here. So we have the decimal part. So the decimal part. So what do we have for the decimal? So when you have situation like this, since for the whole number parts, we divided all through by 8, since 8 is what we want to convert into. But for the decimal part, we are going to be doing the complete opposite. That is, we are going to be multiplying by 8. But our multiplication is going to be tactical. So our multiplication is going to be tactical. Now look into this. So we are going to be multiplying 0.3235 because that's the decimal part. So 0.235 means 0.235 since I split the whole decimal number into the whole number part and the decimal part. So we have 0.235. So that's the decimal part. So we have 0.235, 0.235. Don't forget, I said we are going to be doing the complete opposite. So we are going to be multiplying by 8. So when we multiply 0.235 by 8, so multiply by 8 times 8. So we are going to be getting 1.880. So we have 1.880. We have 1.88 and 0. So our concern is the whole number part that we are getting. So the whole number part from this multiplication is 1. While the decimal part from this multiplication is 0.880. Please take note of that. Then again, we multiply the decimal part alone by 8. So we are not concerned with this one. So let me rule something like this. So we are not really concerned with this one. So we are only concerned with the 0.880, which is same thing as 0.880. So we also multiply the 0.880 by 8. We keep multiplying by 8. So at least 3 times is enough. So multiply by 8 again. So when we multiply by 8, it's going to give us 7.040. So let me write the whole number part outside as 7. Then 0.040. Then we keep multiplying by 8. So we have multiplied by 8 again, which is going to give us 0.320. So we have 0 here, then 0.320. 320. So I will keep doing this on and on and on. But I think 3 times is enough. So 3 times is enough. I don't need to do more than 3 times. So in this situation, I'm now going to pick the numbers downward from the top. That is from 1. I'm going to pick in only the whole number part. That's 1, 7, and 0. That is this one, this 7, and this 0. They are the ones I'm going to pick for the decimal number. You can see it's just the complete opposite. So the decimal number part, which is 0.235, that's the decimal number part of base 10, is the same thing as 0.17, because I'm going to be picking from the 0 here because it's going to be 0.17 then 0. So 0.170, 0.17 then 0. I can continue over and over, but I'm going to be stopping here. 1, 0, then 0 in base 8. So in base 8. And this is what I'm going to merge with the first answer that I got for the whole number part. So this is the answer for the decimal part, while this is the answer for the whole number part. So merging them together, then we have hence 574.235 235 in base 10 is the same thing as, so for the whole number part, which is 574, is 1076, is 1076, then we have point. So for the decimal part, which is 235, so the answer for that is 1, 7 and 0, because it's going to be 0 point, it's after point 170. So we have 0.170 in base 8, and that's just how you go about it. I believe it is well explanatory without any problem. So do well to subscribe and like my page and my channel. You are great. So anticipate for the next video. You are great.